Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, my beautiful hot messes. My name is Mistress Lavender, also known as the Phenom Dictator, and welcome to my reading YouTube channel. If you're looking for my regular YouTube, it's A Beautiful Hot Mess, AYE, Beautiful Hot Mess. But if you're at the right place, let's begin. I'm currently reading The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I am on page 141, Transgression 3. Let's begin. In the 5th century BC, Chu Young Urch, the prince of Qian in present-day China, has been forced into exile. He lived modestly, even sometimes in poverty, waiting for the time when he could return home and assume his princely life. Once he was passing through the state of Chang, where the ruler, not knowing who he was, treated him rudely. The ruler's minister, Chu Chan, saw this and said, "This man is a worthy prince. May your highness treat him with courtesy and thereby place him under an obligation." But the ruler, able to see only the prince's lowly station, ignored this advice and insulted the prince again. Shi Shang warned again his master, saying, "If your highness cannot treat Shi Yung Urch with courtesy, you should put him to death, to avoid calamity in the future." The ruler only scoffed. Years later, the prince was finally able to return home. His circumstances greatly changed. He did not forget who had been kind to him and who had been insolent. I assume insolent means mean, but I'm gonna underline it because the first time I'm hearing this word, insolent, during his years of poverty. Least of all did he forgive his treatment at the hands of the ruler Chang. At his first opportunity, he assembled a vast army and marched on Chang, taking 8 cities, destroying the kingdom, and sending the ruler into an exile of his own. Interpretation: you can never be sure with who you're dealing with. A man who is of little importance and means today can be a person of power tomorrow. We forget a lot in our lives, but we rarely forget an insult. That's true. How was the ruler of Chang to know that Prince Chiungurch was an ambitious, calculating, cunning type, a serpent with a long memory? There was really no way for him to know, you may say, but since there was no way, it would have been better not to tempt the fates by finding out. There is nothing to be gained by insulting a person unnecessarily. Swallow the impulse to defend, even if the other person seems weak. The satisfaction is meager compared to the danger that someday he or she will be in a position to hurt you. Transgression 4. Oh, that's 4? 1V is 4? Oh. The year, right? That's 4, right? Yeah. Transgression 4. The year of 1920 had been a particularly bad one for American art dealers. Big buyers, the Robin Baron generation of the previous century, were getting to an age where they were dying off like flies, and no new millionaires had emerged to take their place. Things were so bad that a number of the major dealers decided to pool their resources, an unheard of event since art dealers usually get along like cats and dogs. Joseph DeVoon, art dealer to the richest tycoons of America, was suffering more than the others that year. So he decided to go along with this alliance. The group now consisted of the 5 biggest dealers in the country. Looking for a new client, they decided that their last best hope was Henry Ford, then the wealthiest man in America. Ford had yet to venture into the art market, and he was such a big target that it made sense for them to work together. The dealers decided to assemble a list, the 100 greatest paintings in the world, all of which they happened to have in stock, and to offer a lot of them to Ford. With one purchase, he could make himself the world's greatest collector. The consortium worked for weeks to produce a magnificent object, a 3-volume set of books containing beautiful reproductions of the paintings, as well as scholarly texts accompanying each picture. Next, they made a personal visit to Ford at his home in Dearborn, Michigan. They were surprised by the simplicity of his house. Mr. Ford was obviously an extremely unaffected man. Ford received them in his study. Looking through the book, he expressed astonishment and delight. The excited dealers began imagining the millions of dollars that would surely flow into their coffers. Finally, however, Ford looked up from the book and said, "Gentlemen, beautiful books like these with beautiful colored pictures like these must cost an awful lot." But Mr. Ford, exclaimed Duveen, we didn't expect you to buy these books. We got them up especially for you to show you the pictures. These books are a present to you. Ford seemed puzzled. Gentlemen, he said, it is extremely nice of you, but I really don't see how I can accept a beautiful, expensive present like this from strangers. Duveen explained to Ford that the reproductions in the book showed paintings that they hoped to sell to him. Ford finally understood. But gentlemen, he explained, what would I want with the original pieces when the ones right here in these books are so beautiful? Interpretation. Joseph Duveen prided himself on studying his victims and clients in advance, figuring out their weaknesses and peculiarities of their tastes before he had ever met them. He was driven by desperation to drop this tactic just once in his assault on Henry Ford. It took him months to recover from this misjudgment, both mentally and monetarily. Ford was the unassuming plain man type that just isn't worth the bother. He was the incarceration of those literal minded folks who do not possess enough imagination to be deceived. From then on, Duveen saved his energies for the Mellons and Morgan of the world, men crafty enough for him to entrap in his snares. I'm gonna stop there. Stopping at 143, and I'm gonna look up the word insolent. Again, my name is Esther Slavner. Thank you so much for joining my reading YouTube. I will see you tomorrow. I read every day, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn your notifications on. Bye.